you. My name is Philip.
Want to make sure the red button is up?
My name is Philip Curtis. I'm pastor of Exeter Chapel in Exeter, Rhode Island, 300-member Baptist congregation. I'm a lifelong resident of Rhode Island. Senator Raptakis used to be my representative, maybe, in the past. I'm also president of the Evangelical Ministers Fellowship of Southern Rhode Island, representing about a dozen churches in South County. Our state laws have always assumed that marriage is a union between one man and one woman. Why is this? Because historically, our marriage laws have been based on the Judeo-Christian view of marriage with its roots in the Hebrew and Christian scriptures. According to the Jewish Torah, in the beginning, God created man, male and female. Hence, a man leaves his father and mother and clings to his wife so that they become one flesh. In the Christian Gospels, Jesus himself quotes these same texts from the Torah and endorses this same view of marriage as a heterosexual, monogamous institution. That's in Matthew 19 and Mark 10. I respectfully urge this committee and the General Assembly to uphold this traditional view of marriage. You are now being asked to redefine marriage in our state, or to allow the people to redefine marriage. If this goes forward, I ask you, by what authority will you redefine marriage? Who gave you, or even the people of our state, the right to change the definition of marriage? By what standard shall all our marriage laws be defined now and in the future, if we arbitrarily change its very definition? Where and by what logic will we draw the line? Will polygamy be permitted? Incestuous marriages? In principle, why not? You are faced with a decision of competing value systems. Which view of marriage will you endorse? Again, I respectfully urge you to uphold the traditional view of marriage as defined by the laws of nature and of nature's God, the Creator, whom we acknowledge in our Declaration of Independence, the Almighty God, whom we acknowledge in our Rhode Island State Constitution. I'll just depart from my prepared statement and just make one other comment. Senator Archambault mentioned Roger Williams. I think the appeal to Roger Williams is misplaced, if I may say so respectfully. He believed in the separation of church and state in religious concerns. In his writings, which are very difficult, very torturous, long sentences, he specifically spoke of this separation of church and state with regard to the Ten Commandments. He said that the state ought not to legislate the first 4 commandments, you shall have no other gods before me, and so on. But he specifically said that it is up to the state to legislate commandments 5 through 9, such as you shall not kill, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness. Those basic moral commandments are actually the foundation of our whole system of laws. That's why we punish those who rob and steal. The 7th commandment, you shall not commit adultery, is intended to protect the marriage relationship between a man and a woman. And I'm confident that tolerant Roger Williams, if he were alive today, would be opposed to this change of definition in marriage. He would see that as falling under the second table of the law. You can read it in his torturous writings. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments for this witness? Senator Archambault.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I said earlier, Reverend, thank you for your comments, that Roger Williams, to me, embodies the spirit of freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, and what influenced our founding fathers in the writings, as well as John Locke, and was instrumental in us having the First Amendment, and I'm proud of that as a Rhode Islander. But I also said that Roger Williams was a seeker. He considered himself a seeker unto one. So I wouldn't hold Roger Williams up as my moral barometer of what I should do in the present day. Another quote comes to mind. I think of the Jefferson Memorial, and I'm paraphrasing. Thomas Jefferson said something to the effect of, I don't consider myself a frequent, again I'm paraphrasing, I don't consider myself a proponent of frequent changes to the Constitution, but to expect a grown man to wear the same coat that fit him in his youth isn't in keeping with the constant times. Clearly, historically, there have been issues that we would say that were right in their time, in their historical context, maybe in the minds of those who advocated passionately, such as our founding fathers, but wouldn't be right today, such as slavery. As much as I'm a big fan of Thomas Jefferson and his brilliance, and so many things are remarkable. If you've ever been to Monticello, you'd be awed by the brilliance of this man. He owned slaves. And so we wouldn't say that Thomas Jefferson would be an end-all, do-all. In that context, I want to make an analogy to Roger Williams. I'm proud that Roger Williams founded this great state of ours. I'm proud I say Car Bar in Florida, and I'm proud that he helped to influence the rest of the nation on the First Amendment. That doesn't mean he's my moral barometer. I like being a seeker unto one and not having judgment put on me for believing that all people are created equal. I respect you and your arguments and how you articulate them. I hope I cleared that up.
May I respond?
Certainly.
Yes, he was a seeker after religious concerns. There again, his seeking had to do with denominational issues. He didn't believe there was any apostolic church still on earth. It really didn't enter into his moral judgments, I don't believe.
You could abstract from an apostolic seeking, right, that one was keeping an open mind towards religions. If he sought apostolically, whether he favored an apostolic church or not, he was still a spiritual seeker, right?
But his seeking had to do with those first four commandments, not with the commandments that have to do with our neighbor relationships. You know, my neighbor's property, my neighbor's marriage, my neighbor's life. Those he would have thought should be legislated by this assembly according to the Ten Commandments.
Let me do this, Reverend. Let me concede the argument to you because you seem like a very accurate historical scholar in your context. Let me concede the argument and say, assume all that's right. To me, the influence of Williams being secular was that he believed in tolerance more than anything, and he never denounced the Baptist Church, right? Correctly, after he left it, he left the Baptist Church to its own design after a very brief period of time, 10 days, something like that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, to me, he represents religious tolerance when he saw it. And as I said, the context of his day isn't the present day. Just that's the analogy I'm trying to make through Thomas Jefferson.
Well, I hope you'll consider my thoughts.
You're an articulate, good man, so thank you for your thoughts.